Our next storyteller's secret fact is that he once wrote speech notes for Nelson Mandela, and then met Nelson Mandela. And when Nelson Mandela said, "How are you?" was just completely silent and stared at him. Please welcome Wayne Hendry.
Before I start, I just want to say that the previous speakers or storytellers were really amazing. It's a hard act to follow, and if you don't mind, I'd like another round of applause because they were really, really good stories. And this may be something that you can relate to. I kind of feel like I've landed in an exam room. I'm looking at the paper and I'm going, shit, I should have studied more. After hearing those stories, I was going, Jesus, I should have trained a little bit more. I should have practiced. Should have left the damn cat where it was. But anyway, let me begin my story. It's the mid-1990s. I'm a diplomat for the South African government. At the time, they were looking for anybody who was willing to go out and speak about the new South Africa that was coming. Nelson Mandela had been released by that stage, and a lot of things were changing in South Africa. I joined because I believed that it was the right time to do so, and actually volunteered to open the mission in Bucharest, Romania. We had never had a mission there, and I went with my ambassador and we opened it up in Bucharest. I met a woman there who became my girlfriend. She moved in. I was very happy because I wasn't alone anymore. More importantly, she said to me one day, I really like pets and I found a cat in the market. And I was like, what market? She said, well, you know, the food market. And I said, okay, what do you want me to do with it? She said, well, can I bring it home? I said, okay, but if you bring it home and it's a bit bedraggled or it's got fleas, you know, I may be a guy, but I'm not picking the fleas off the cat. She said, okay, I'll do that. So she brought him home. We didn't even know what the sex was. She brought the cat home. He was black, or she was black, whatever was black. I looked at it and I said, okay, I'll buy the cat litter. I'll get hold of the cat food. You take care of the cleaning. It really looked bedraggled. It basically looked like a bald toothbrush that had been left out in the rain. It had a couple of hair. One eye was badly scratched. And I thought, okay, I don't think this cat's going to really make it past the first year. But, you know, she likes it. I love her. I want to make her happy. Bring the cat in. So she brought the cat in. And she said to me, well, what are we going to call it? And I was like, I'm a guy, man. What do I know about names? Call it whatever you like. She said, well, you know, it's black. And I said, oh, that's good. And she said, well, in Arabic, Layla is night. That's a good name for the cat. And I was like, okay, Layla, sounds good to me. And it's actually the female version of night. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because when we took the cat to the vet to get its shots and everything else, the vet said to us, well, what is the name of the cat? And we said, Layla. And he said, you may have a small problem. He said, that it's not a female. So I looked at my girlfriend and I said, didn't you check? She said, I didn't check. I thought you checked us. I don't go around checking other animals, you know, private parts to see if they're male or female. Anyway, so he was a male cat whose name was Layla. Now, if they may have caused an identity crisis from the beginning, I don't know. Anyway, long story short, this cat was, and I've had many cats, this cat was different to any cat that I've ever come across. He was supremely clever, very mischievous, actually even spoke to you if you let him do it long enough. And he grew with us, and I really started to love the cat, and I thought, wow, what a fantastic cat. Life was good. My girlfriend was happy. The cat was getting fatter, had more hair, looked better. Could have been on GQ magazine for all I know. Everything was good. And one day she called me and she said, the cat jumped. And I was like, cat jumped? What do you mean the cat jumped? She said, he jumped out of the window on the 5th floor. And I went, oh, geez, the cat's dead. She said, no, he's alive. And I was, he landed on the balcony on the 1st floor of some neighbor's flat. She rushed down, got him up. He just lay like as if he was dead. She checked to see if there were any broken bones. There weren't. And like all cats, within 30 minutes, he was up asking for food, making as if nothing had happened. That was the beginning, I think, of his extraordinary life. He's the only cat that I know of that's lived on 3 continents. He was born in Romania, taken to South Africa, and eventually ended up in Canada and the United States for a while. Now, the best, I would say the real part of the story, the thing that really made me love this cat and hate him at the same time. As a diplomat, I was going back to, or actually I was transferred to Washington, D.C. That's where I met Nelson Mandela and stood there like an idiot while he spoke to me and said nothing. My girlfriend said, look, I can't take the cat. What if the people at the airport say to me, like, you're Romanian, what kind of cat is this? Are you trying to smuggle drugs in? I said, look, I think you lean a little bit, it's still being paranoid. She said, no, you're a diplomat, you take the cat. If you take the cat, nobody's going to bother you. Geneva Convention and all that. I said, okay, I'll take the cat. I said, okay, do we have a cage for the cat? And she said, what's that? And I said, we got to put the cat somewhere. I can't get on the plane with the cat in my arms. And she said, okay, well, I'll see if I can get a cage. So she got this plastic cage, which really was flimsy. And I said, well, I know cats. They don't like being locked up in anything, at all. He's going to start jumping around, meowing. We've got to get something to put him asleep or, just calm and control him for a while. She said, okay, I'll go and speak to the doctor. She went to some vet. She came back with tablets. She said, well, if you give him this, he should be okay. He should be calm. He may even sleep. I said, that's perfect. That's really fantastic. So on the day, we drug him, put him into the little case. There's hardly a sound from him. I packed my suitcase. I get through the customs, no problem. I'm on the plane. And I'm in first class because a friend of mine decided to give me a gift of traveling first class back to the United States. And I was like, oh, fantastic. It's first class. Wow. I can lay back. I don't have to worry about anybody kicking my seat. Food is good. Everything is good here. What can I say? And we were flying from Romania to Vienna. We had to stay over there for one night and then fly to Geneva the next morning and then to Washington, D.C. We arrive in Vienna, and the cat's starting to move, but he's not too bad. I get him into the hotel room. Everything's fine. He seems to be under control. 2 o'clock that morning, the cat is not under control. The cat is now actively meowing. You know that meow that enters your brain? That wow! So I'm thinking, and he's not just doing it once, he's doing it multiple times. And as he's walking, he's still half drugged, so he's walking into the door, he's walking into me, and the eyes are like this. And I'm like, Jesus, what am I going to do? And I'm thinking if there's a big Russian guy or some Austrian guy next door and he's hearing this meow, meow, he's going to knock on my door. He's going to say, is that your cat? I'm going to beat the shit out of you because so I'm going, please, cat, please, quiet. The cat's not listening. Cat's not. I call my girlfriend in Romania at 2:45. I say, please, I ask you, please speak to this cat because I can't. She picks up the phone and she starts speaking into Romanian, and it seems to help. He seems to understand the Romanian. He's like, I don't like this guy. He doesn't know how to speak Romanian. You sound good. He seems calm. Everything is good. I get into bed. Slumber time, because I've got to be up by 5 o'clock. 4:30. Wow. Wow. I'm like, Jesus, okay. Okay, now I have to do something. And being a man, as usual, we only know one thing. If you don't shut up, I'm going to kill you. Cat just ignored me, carried on for another 20 minutes. Eventually, I chased him out of the bed, and he seemed to calm down, and I was like, oh, fantastic. Fantastic, I can go to bed. Went to bed, slept for 20 minutes, the alarm went off. I got up, got dressed, rushed out to the airport to get him some milk, something to eat. Came back, put it in front of him, put his pill in the milk so that he sleep a little bit more. He walked towards the milk, and I think he was still drugged because his whole face went straight into the milk. Came back out, and he looked at me going, what the hell is that? So I had to clean his face, and I'm a man. We don't do these things well. And the cat's like, what are you doing? Anyway, put him in the little plastic whatever she bought that she gave me, and I thought, okay, we're off. So we get to the airport. I line up, and the woman says, your flight has been delayed. So I said, okay, when is the flight? She said, another 4 hours. So I had to go back to the hotel room. By this time, the drugs have worn off again. And I don't know if it's a thing about not being in the same place that they're always in, but the cat starts meowing again. So I go back to the airport and I say, look, I know this is going to sound very strange, but I need drugs for my cat. So the person at the pharmacy goes, your drugs for your cat? Yeah. No, I said, look, I'll bring him here if you like. I've got to have something. He's not, he's just not controllable. I've got to get onto the flight. So they gave me some drugs, and they said, look, don't give me the whole tablet, just give me little pieces. Should last you until you get to Washington, D.C. I was like, fantastic, wonderful. We get on the plane, everything's fantastic, he's quiet. I'm sipping my champagne thinking, hey, life is good. I'm back where I belong. I'm relaxed, first class. I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I see this spray of water come up vertically. I'm like, what the hell is that? And it's coming from the cage. I realize within a millisecond, it's urine. I'm like, Jesus. People next to me are going, whoa. They're moving. Everybody that was close, they're gone. I have like a nuclear area of devastation. I pick him up. Urine is on my arms, dripping down my pants. I rush him into the bathroom. So now I've got to wash him in that little washroom, which is making a noise. And he's like, what the fuck is this? And he's mowing even more. And I'm trying to clean him. He's full of urine. I'm back out there getting my Calvin Klein Eternity that my girlfriend had just bought me. I spray half the bottle on him, half the bottle on me. And I'm like, shit. And we both smell like Calvin Klein when we come out. And people are like, we are not sitting next to these two. They're even moving further to the back. The air hostess comes past and she looks at me and goes, is the cat okay? I feel like the cat is okay, but if there's any way, I'll throw him out of the window at this stage. But he's okay. So I give him his last bit of drugs. He seems to calm down. Everything seems fine. I have my wonderful dinner. Oh, he did wake up when the dinner was there because he could smell the steak. So he had to have a piece of that. He falls asleep. I haven't put him back in the cage because the cage is still kind of urinated. Even though I did try to wash it. And everything's fantastic. I'm finally relaxed. Everything seems cool. Yeah, the air hostess spilled a bit of coffee in my jeans, but that's not a problem because it's just mixing in with the urine. Got that coffee urine smell going. Who knows? By now, people have moved even further away from me. But that's just the way it is. And I think, well, that's it. It's been hectic up until now, but you know what? It's always darkest before dawn. It's done. I'm sitting there going, fantastic. I can go to sleep and not worry about anything. We've got a couple of hours to Washington, D.C., maybe one at the most, if I look at it properly. And I'm almost falling asleep when I feel a movement next to me. It's the cat. He's awake. He's like, okay, I'm awake, I'm alive. I'm going to go check out the surroundings. He jumps off and makes a headline charge for the pilot's area, which at that stage wasn't 9/11, so the doors were wide open. I'm sitting there going, oh, Jesus, he's going into the cockpit. So I played rugby at school. I'm diving. I grab him by the bottom legs and I've got him in the cat. I pick up the cat and the air hostess comes out. She said, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. I'm very well. I'm so good. And the cat, oh, yeah, he's good. He's good. It was a nightmare from then until we landed. He didn't sit still. He wouldn't listen to me. He didn't do anything. He tried to make another dash. I stopped him from doing that, fortunately. Thankfully, I had called the embassy and asked them to please send a driver to pick me up because I was turning up with this wonderful cat from Romania. I remember getting through customs and seeing the driver. The driver looked at me, and to be honest with you, I had urine, coffee, shirt was a little bit scratched from the cat, face is looking a little bit distorted. He looked at me and said, what happened? Fucking cat. And he was like, which one? I said, don't you hear me? Meow, meow. All the way from the airport to my house, it was meow, meow. Suffice to say, the cat lived. I lived. He came to Canada with us. He traveled Alitalia, which was better than the flight that we had, and passed away 5 years ago. But what a wonderful cat. Thank you very much for your time.
Wayne Hendry.